Morning, guys. What's going on? It's almost 5 in the morning. It's 4:52. It's Friday, December 10th, 2021. Fair play. What's that these days? What's fair? Someone else's interpretation of what fair is supposed to be. Yeah, if you're waiting for me to say a long time ago, I remember. I'm just going to take a sip of coffee first. I've been having a junk in my throat, in the lungs, driving me crazy. I need a new CPAP machine. I need to get to a doctor for this shit. I don't know if fair play is anymore. It seems like the definitions keep changing every single day, every single time. People take what's theirs and call it fair. No matter if it's against the law or against principles or against something, it doesn't matter. They're going to say it's fair for me and not for you. And demonstrate that by doing unruly behavior such as sporting events. Now, recently we had a woman go crazy over a basketball game with kids. I understand about being enthusiastic, overly enthusiastic, but when you get to the point of getting on the field and start thumping the opposition because you don't like them because they're winning, my question is, why is it always the parents' job to ruin the kids' fun? The kid got into the tournament. The kids get into the tournament, get into their sporting fields, into the field of combat, the field of competition. The coaches tried desperately to teach him what fair play is supposed to be, what good sportsmanship is, how you're supposed to treat the other player fairly, but you're supposed to beat the living crap out of him in the game and still have fun at the same time. You have to play at your max best as much as you can. But you're going to be a good sportsmanship, especially if the other person gets down and you can pick the other guy up. That's good sportsmanship. But it's not good sportsmanship, especially when you have your parents screaming and yelling their heads off saying, "Thump the other brat! Get the other brat! Get him off the field!" They're not yelling at the coach, they're yelling at the kid. And the kid takes the advantage. The kid takes the word of the adult, the parent. And then skull thumping it is. Of course, the kid's looking at it very, like, my parents have gone nuts. Because the skull thumping is not coming from the kid, it's coming from the parents. We're not just talking about baseball, we're also talking about basketball, maybe football, something like that. I mean, how many times have we seen it in different parks when they're competing with each other? Not many of those incidents get into the record books, or in the media. Before we had the cell phones, before we had the cameras going off like crazy, you hardly ever hear about it except word of mouth. Now, because we got the cell phones like crazy to record anything and everything at the same time, bad sportsmanship is on the rise more and more because we're catching it. We're catching what's supposed to be American fair play in sportsmanship. The problem is, we're not learning, we're not paying attention to it, we just don't care. Because what's fair for us isn't fair for everybody else, and we don't care. We want our fair share. We want 60-40. That's 60 for me and 40 for you. I'm sorry, did you say something? That's going to be 70. 30. Don't give me that look, that's 80. Want to push it to 99? That's sportsmanship. That's fair play. Mostly for me, and screw you. That's going to be 100% right now. I don't want to hear from you. Because I'm better. Because I'm me. Because you're in that job, and at this point over here, you really don't care what's happening these days, do you? Teaching the kids how to play unfairly, one way or another. Cheat, if necessary. Beat the living crap out of the other person, one way or another. In one form or fashion. Because that's the American way. Cheat at all possible. Screw competition. Because you're seeing that happen these days. And you're seeing the competition getting their ass kicked one way or another. See, we lost what we supposedly had a long time ago. What we want. What they kept dreaming of. What conservatives, I'm going to be bringing those assholes in, kept saying what should have been. We need to take back America. We need to take this back. Back to what point? To where? To why? I don't know. Somebody tell me that one. Somebody tell me, why is it fair that this person would have to have everything and the other person has to have nothing? That's fair. But if you do 50-50, you're doing communist. Then I won't do socialist, I won't do communist. Can't spread it out because you're a communist. Okay. You're a communist because of why? You're sharing. And you call yourself a believer in Christ. I believe in Jesus. Right. The story came into my head. Wise young man wandering through the desert. Had a lot of knowledge. A lot of horse sense. A lot of common sense we should have been taking for granted. We should have been not taking for granted, but taking in earnest. It comes to a lot of people are hungry and starving. And he sees a fisherman and another baker, yes. But there's some fish and there's some loaves, but the people are many. How is this going to be helpful for these people? How are they going to be fed? Somehow or another, they were fed. Now, in our day and age, at this point over here, we probably want all the damn pieces for ourselves because we don't want the other person to have it. And yet, one guy decides he's going to help out the starving crowd by feeding them some fish and some bread. Doesn't matter if the pieces were small or large. He was going to feed every last one of them. Somewhere in our good textbooks that we have, lessons like this are usually presentable. I know they're going to say, oh, Jesus was feeding the masses. Okay, Jesus was feeding the masses with, I think it was what, how many loaves of bread and how many fish? And yet he, in the book, he said so. He fed. I didn't say what kind of pieces, but he fed them. So maybe in the gut it made a difference in their stomach and in their lives that someone actually got out of the way to be helpful. take care of the other people that needed it the most. Was there anybody else in the story somewhere screaming and yelling their heads off, saying that's not fair? I want more. I want. As in, that one individual, that ego person over here, decides they want more because they think they're what? The center of the universe? It's the same attitude I keep saying regarding this fair play situation. It's the same situation. They matter more than the other team. They matter more than anybody else. They are the supreme. They are the rulers. They are the ego. They are the id. They're not going to do anything else except get people in trouble. How about the fights happening on board planes? Try that one. As I'm doing this taping, I'm also watching the local news, KTLA, as they're talking about fights on board airlines. A simple mask can protect a lot of things. But then again, the behavior of adults are they are the worst childlike people ever. Especially when they get drunk and stupid. Or if they don't get drunk and stupid and think that they know better and they're not going to kowtow to anything or anybody because they say so. So much for American fair play. See, we developed this fallacy a long time ago, this myth that we are going to be following the rules. No, we said F the rules. We're going to do whatever it takes to win at any price, and we don't care. Because that's currently the American. That's what we were taught in the past 10 years. Within the past 10 years. Actually, a lot more than that. A lot more than that. Because we've never been fond of fair play, have we? No, we haven't. Sportsmanship has gone out the window. We can find them, but they still have the behavior. But the behavior has already been spread forth. It's already been emulated. It's already been assimilated. It's already been copied already. What's fair for one person isn't fair for everybody else. So you have to cheat. You have to cheat bad. I mean, you really have to cheat. You really have to get yourself into a state of being a scoundrel. And saying that you matter more than the other person. And the more it's keep propagating, the more I keep seeing it on the news these days. It's only tips of icebergs. We really have no positive say in anything. It's all about me, not about you. We have so-called programs out there to help educate and guide us, to put us into a state of open-mindedness, appreciation for others. If we're lucky, maybe 2 or 3% of them actually do follow the damn thing, and the rest of them are still doing the me. Only they try to make it more subtler. Doesn't work. Because they only show that it produces clicks. And the clicks are more important than anything else. It's us versus them. Don't you know that? And this is an American fair play. This is fair play. If at any time, probably if my videos were ever largely viewed, they'd probably wondered what kind of a lunatic and a fool I am. Recording all these things, talking about things like this. What human behavior is, was, and currently, I don't know. Things that mattered most to me probably will not matter to somebody else. So the only thing is, why bother? The only thing I could probably do at that point is scratch my nose at this one. Jump in my Yeah, I originally thought I was going for my glasses, didn't I? But I still had something around the eyes. I still have to scratch out sometimes. Sleepy junk. Something, wasn't it? And yet, how many people are trying to be that subtle about their own needs before everybody else? Their own wants. And they don't care what happens to the other person. Of course, people are going to say, who the hell am I? I say this about them. Who am I compared to them? Oh, you're right. You got a swelled head. And there's no way of taking care of it surgically except for move to the head, or at least a needle into the syringe, into the cavity, and just suck out all the damn ego. But that's not going to happen. That's not. I might hit a non-vital part called intelligence, or something that might control something sensitive. And even if I happen to do the quote-unquote to the head, that's going to be considered violence right there of any sort. Promoting it, executing it. So where's the fair play in that one? No, just reminding the schmuck of what's going on. Of course, the schmuck doesn't want to understand it. He still wants to be a schmuck. But he doesn't want to get hurt either. Because God forbid if he actually gets hurt, all hell breaks loose. Yeah, a lot of talk, a lot of air. Little horse sense for the people because they don't care. They don't care about the world being turned upside down. They only cared about their own, about what they're going to get, what they want, compared to everything else. I'm sorry, I can't deal with that. Because if I'm going to be being that way, then maybe I don't know myself more and more. I became to emulate everybody else. Is that fair? Is that the American way? Emulating the next poor schmuck who's cheating and lying his way up, only to be told as such and then denied because he cheated, he lied, he pissed away. But this is the American way. It can't be wrong, can it? It should not be wrong. Is it?